Welcome to Northwest Profiles, a look at people, places, and events of interest in the inland Northwest.
From its majestic mountains east and west to its alluring waterways and rich plateau country in between, it's easy to see why Canada's westernmost province, British Columbia, is called supernatural. Boasting nearly 28 million acres of provincial parks, ecological reserves, recreation areas, and more, BC offers an amazingly diverse range of outdoor adventure found nowhere else on the continent. For many, the lure of hiking her trophy trails, skiing her trophy peaks, and boating her trophy waters is reason enough to visit or make British Columbia their home. Yet these days, the appeal of the province is branching out as more and more people discover and experience BC's award-winning ability to produce something more than just outdoor fun. Running through the heart of the province is the beautiful 100-mile-long Okanagan Valley, a fertile valley where sprawling orchards once filled the landscape. However, over the past 2 decades, the valley has undergone a dramatic transformation, whereby acres of orchards have been replaced by vast rows of vineyards.
If you were here 25 years ago, there was only about 9 wineries actually in the British Columbia wine scene. There's over 100 wineries in BC now, 63 in this valley alone, so it's grown dramatically over the last few years. There's about 6,000 acres of grapes planted. About 5 years ago, there was less than half of that planted in the Okanagan Valley, so production has increased dramatically.
Ken Lozon is general manager of the award-winning Hillside Estate Winery. From its lofty perch on what is called the Naramata Bench, this charming winery, once an apricot farm, overlooks the scenic vacation community of Penticton, BC.
You know, Penticton used to be referred to as the place of peaches and beaches, and we like to refer to it now as more than just peaches and beaches. There's two mountain ranges on either side, east and west, and then there's the 2 lakes north and south, Lake Okanagan to the north and Skaha Lake to the south. So we are a very compact city and very little growth potential to us, but we're on the east side of the Okanagan Valley in the heart of the wine growing country of British Columbia. And this bench is about 19 kilometers long. It goes from the city of Penticton all the way to the village of Naramata, and we refer to it as 19 miles of paradise.
Regardless of its size or location, the ability of a winery to produce a world-class bottle of wine often depends on the multiple talents of its professional winemaker. That is why Hillside Estate Winery hired Eric von Krosigk, a man whose interest in winemaking was sparked at an early age.
After high school, graduating from high school, went to college for a year, and then I knew I wanted to become a winemaker, and I applied. It took me about 2 years to get a position in Europe, and I went and did a 3-year apprenticeship in grape growing and winemaking, and then I studied beverage engineering at the University of Geisenheim for 5 years.
Following his coursework, which included 6 years as a member of the prestigious AP Commission, the official quality tasting panel of Germany, Eric returned to Canada in 1991, eager to start a winery and apply what he had learned.
What I knew when I went over is that when I came back, there would be, nobody over there that's sort of like a brotherhood, and, everybody helps everybody. And here you're pretty much, there's only a few people in the wilderness still, if you will. So I had to learn as much as I could, so that's what really pushed me. And so when I came back, I had all these skills. You have to love plants, you have to be able to grow the grapes and spray them and do all the vineyard work. As a winemaker, you have to be a viticulturalist. You have to be a biologist, you have to be a biochemist, half the time you have to be an electrician because something's always breaking. It's all about pumps and motors in this business. And and you have to be a salesman, and you have to be a marketer, and you have to be an artist, because there's a form of art. Nobody can, you can't just open a book and say, oh, it's gonna smell and taste like that. You have to remember smells and remember tastes. So you have to have a good palate.
Armed with a wealth of knowledge, skill, and passion for his art form, this Vernon, BC native has been instrumental in helping to redefine the quality of wine produced in the province. In just 13 years, Eric von Krosigk has become one of the most internationally awarded winemakers in the history of British Columbia's wine industry.
I think the most important part, which most people don't understand because they don't have the opportunity to, is actually getting the right grapes. The region itself is ideal from just sheer sunlight hours. We've got the moderating effect of the big lakes in the winter, so we're not getting the freeze downs. We can keep the grapes growing for a long time, even, grafted, self-rooted, whatever. And then the Indian summers, where you got the cool evenings, so you're holding the acidity, you got those warm days, and they're just slowly ripening. I think those are some of the key aspects to the valley, and they make for stunning, stunning grapes.
Beautiful.
I guess my secret is listening to people. I have a style, and I like things very dry, and I like very, very dry, and I like lots of tannin on reds, but most people don't like that. So my thing is I get out to the wine tastings and listen to the comments and the feedback from people and see what they're tasting, what they're liking.
It has a nose, it has deep, deep flavor.
Knowing what people want and then delivering it on a consistent basis can be difficult to achieve. However, with accomplished vintners like Von Krosigk and others like him, the BC wineries are finding a way, leading to unprecedented growth and world-class quality.
I think it's a great thing. I think competition is a great thing. I think stylistic differences are a great thing, because we have winemakers from everywhere. They're from Switzerland, they're from Italy, they're from Canada, they're from the United States, they're from Greece, they're absolutely everywhere. Yugoslavia. So you have all these people with all these different backgrounds, bringing all these different techniques and styles and different grape varieties. We have 79 different commercial grape varieties growing right now. Yeah, the quality of the wine in this region has changed probably about 200% to the better. When the Wine Institute started to market BC wines, I mean, the biggest thing to get people over was the fear factor of BC wines, because they were so bad for so long. We've come a long way. The wines are really beautiful. They're winning international awards everywhere. So I think we have the right to stand up and be very proud, and they're very reasonably priced, and there's excellent quality.
In a relatively short time, BC's Okanagan Valley has become one of North America's best-known wine-producing regions. To be sure, it's a success story worthy of celebration.
We have a wine festival this time of the year, which is in the fall, to celebrate the harvest, the fall harvest of the wines, and this is when they do all of their processing and that sort of thing. They have it in the spring as well, so everybody pulls out the best wines available, the best foods available, and it's a palate-pleasing adventure.
Held 4 times a year, the Okanagan Wine Festivals, which include lavish events like this one at the stylish Manteo Resort in Kelowna, have quickly become popular attractions for BC locals and visitors alike. And why not? There's nothing more satisfying than good food and good wine to go along with good company.
I'm not a winemaker by any means, but my drive is meeting all the people, seeing the satisfaction on their face. When we make a good bottle of wine and we can sell it in our restaurant to them or through our wine shop, and they're very happy when they leave our property. That's what it's all about.
I think what I enjoy the most about making wine is actually making new friends. I meet so many great people, and you come together over a glass of wine. I enjoy the challenge. I find for myself that I always need to be challenged because I get bored very easily. So for me in particular, I like that. I like, in a sense, never get to rest, but yeah, you get to make a great bottle of wine, but you get to share it with people. And some of the most fascinating people I've ever met, walk through the door and you don't know who they are from Adam. And next thing you know, you're sitting down and you're sharing some bread and some cheese and a glass and swapping some stories, and it's just great. It's just magic.
If you have a story idea for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, 3911 South Regal, Spokane, Washington, 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS Public Television.